Okay, let's go.
Thank y'all for joining me for my review of the new Glock Gen 6. I particularly have the Glock Gen 6 17. And so I make sure these are clear. No live rounds. All right. Nothing here as well. So this is the new Gen 6 17. I am a 17 carrier, so I have also the Gen 5 prior to that. Again, clear gun, nothing in the chamber, nothing here. The Gen 5 is the one I've been carrying for years, so pretty familiar with the 17 lineup. I also have the Gen 4 as well. And so I just wanted to talk about my experience so far with the new Gen 6 versus the Gen 5, the changes, the differences that they have in them. I like to keep my triggers pressed back when I'm not in use for mine. So as you guys will see, my Gen 5 and my Gen 6 are matching, right? So for me, what's going to happen is this Gen 6 will transition into being my EDC everyday carry, and the one that I get the most work to. And this one will transition into being anytime I take classes, training, and for whatever instance I may need a backup, this will fall in line to be my backup. My Gen 5 will never depart me. As some of you may know who follow me, it has my logo on it. So this one will forever be in my collection, right? But there are some differences. So before I put the Gen 5 down, I know one of the changes that has happened in the Gen 6 is the beaver tail. So for me, I've been running the beaver tail since I've had my Gen 5. So not much difference other than it already being part of the frame for the Gen 6 for me. Another big difference that most people already know is that the stippling on the Gen 6 is much greater than the Gen 5, obviously. So that is one of the things that you'll see. It is higher on the Gen 6 versus the Gen 5. Kind of see them there. It is much higher on there. And then also the cutout here where you're, at least for me, my thumb lands. Everybody's hands are different, but for me and my thumb, when I go to get my grip, it perfect fit for me. That built-in gas pedal now, so it's perfect fit for me in my hands. So I do like that. Another change is kind of subtle, but anybody who's picked up one will know the Gen 5, while like I said, using it for years, it is nothing wrong with this firearm. The grip is a little more boxy versus the Gen 6. It's a little hard to see, but it is a palm swell in there. So what I mean by that is when I go to pick up the firearm, there's a kind of a ridge or hill inside the frame now, or inside the grip, where it fits flush to the palm versus kind of having a boxy feel. So that is a very noticeable difference there in them. So those are a couple of things there. Another thing here is I go ahead and move this is the trigger. So we'll see there that the trigger is actually different in these. So you'll see the difference in the triggers there. And what I'll try to do is highlight, if I can hold them both together for you here, is showing just the difference in where the triggers kind of rest at. You can kind of see that there. So there is a difference in these triggers as well. So for me, I'll try to do this from here. That is about where this trigger stops for me. Kind of zoom in there, and excuse my finger, kind of smashed it the other day, so still healing. But that's about where it stops for me right there, right? And you see I'm pressing, get a click there. In the Gen 6, I get a little bit further, I feel, about right there. And there's not as much give. So it is a little bit shorter to me in terms of the trigger and how it functions and operates. So those are a few things that completely stands out initially first, right? The built-in beaver tail. I did go ahead and add in the large frame, the large grip attachment for me. Just feels better here. The trigger is different, and then the gas pedals here are different. I did notice on the back end here you have one more cutout back here. So it's not significant, but you just have one more cutout back here than you do on the Gen 5. You'll see I've gone ahead and pretty much made these the exact same night sights, same optic. I am waiting on the plate to cover up these openings here. So I am waiting on a plate for that. I went ahead and got the additional raised or extended slide stop and release. Again, I like it. It's very much more comfortable for me. There's another couple of differences I want to maintain here as well, or mention here as well. So in regards to the trigger guard, you'll see specifically here on the Gen 5, much different than on the Gen 6. It's a little bit thinner on the Gen 6 for us there. So that is another thing I wanted to call out. It's a little bit thinner, allowing for the hand to get up a little bit higher on that grip there. Just a little bit higher, not a lot, but just a little bit higher for us there. And that's one thing. And probably going to be hard to see here, but in terms of the slide release to take the slide off for us here, that is a little bit more pronounced than it is on the Gen 5. It's a little bit smaller, so to speak, so it's a little bit hard to see, but it is definitely more pronounced on there than the Gen 5. And one of the last things I want to call out for those who haven't seen is, you'll notice here, right here, it's a little bit different, right, than this Gen 5. The Gen 5 does not have this. So what Glock has done is they have, and I'm just make sure I get this right, the extractor, the pressure plunge has been moved or whatnot in the Gen 6. And the cause of that is when mounting, some people were putting the wrong screws in when they are mounting their optics, and it was causing the extractor plunge to not function correctly. So that has been moved. So if you happen to put the wrong screws in, or you need deeper screws, it should not all interfere with the firearm functioning for you. So those are the things that I've noticed, have seen, have researched. And after shooting this for the last week and a half, I do like it. I really do like it. It feels good. It's definitely feeling a little bit different than this Gen 5. While I say that, the Gen 5 has never failed me. She has put in the work for years for me going down into Florida and all over to just train and get some work in. So that one has never failed me. But this one just feels much better in terms of the trigger and how it feels and all those things. So I do like it. It shoots really well. Definitely some different upgrades different upgrades that we've never probably seen out of Glock. They've gotten rid of the finger grooves in the Gen 3s and 3s, I believe, or 4s. And now, so that was a big change some years ago. But this one, to me, is one of the more significant changes that I've seen in Glock. Oh, I also want to call out the slide, right? So the frame itself, let's go ahead and take this apart. All right, and it is still new, so I'm going to take the Gen 5 apart. So the frame itself, trying to marry those up here. So it is a little bit shorter. So this one is the Gen 6, while this is the Gen 5 here, right? So it's a little bit shorter. And so what I've seen is that this is fit for any generation, and I'm sorry, the 19, the 45, and the 17. So what that means is you cannot take your guide rod in your Gen 5 17 and put it into this one. So for me specifically, I have a tungsten guide rod in my Gen 5 because this uses a 19 length guide rod. It will not work in this one. So there's another change. So you'll see in the Gen 6 that it is if you get a 17, it is a little bit shorter. It's the frame is, but you have this kind of block here to extend out for the 17 slide and barrel length. So nothing big. It's just something that is different. You can't necessarily interchange the internal parts for as the guide rod goes and concern is, but really still good. Still good. I went ahead and got a tungsten guide rod for this one. Shot it a good bit today to see how that felt. Again, works fine. I have no issues out of it. And even for folks who aren't necessarily Glock shooters, I let a couple of people test drive it a little bit, and even they were like, "It's very nice." So, not as I'm a little bit of a Glock head, but I do like everything that I've seen out of this. Very pleased with the upgrade and me switching to the Gen 6. And yeah, I just think it's a good gun. I think it's a very good gun. I think it's definitely going to feel good being my everyday carry and getting the training and the usage out of it. And I plan to beat it up like I've been beating up the Gen 5 for several years. So yeah, that is the plan, is to really put it through the paces. Not going to tear it up like my pretty finish, but it is definitely going to get the majority of the work as this falls into the backup role in terms of my training. But this one will get the bulk of the work, and I feel so far with getting it zeroed in and how it's been shooting, confident in now switching to this as my everyday carry option. So thank you for joining.